Yes, you're right. I just woke up. I haven't even thrown water on my eyes. You throw water on your eyes, especially when you're old, because your heart changes. Your heart doesn't know that you're awake until you throw water. They hold different type of... Anyways, if you know vortex water, you can throw structured water on your eyes and even wake up better. Because that's actually what pumps your blood through. It's not you're throwing water on the heart, but the heart gets a signal right away because it's using structured water. Structured water is pumping your heart, not some pump down there. You got to change the pump every once in a while. Okay, who's the best businessman? Right? Who's the best businessman? Anyways, just to purify this body, Om Apavitro Pravitro Va Sarva, the whole body, Sarva Vastam, the whole Vastam, everything is on me. The whole Sarva Vastam Kotopiya. So please purify, make this body pure. Okay? Now that doesn't mean it took away the dirt, doesn't mean it took away the smell, doesn't mean anything like that. But it has brought me to a consciousness of transcendence. Transcendence means to go beyond. Transcendence. So religion generally doesn't go beyond anything except pious activities. In pious activities, there is no difference. Pious activities, oh, I look so good. But the connection of pious activities, that is the connection, the consciousness. The consciousness is the prevailing thing. It's not the activity. It's the consciousness in what is it's done. In the consciousness that I've done something, it was for my benefit. That's pious activities. I did this for my benefit. That is not love. That is business. So the consciousness, who would not declare consciousness above this, which is always all falling apart? Consciousness never stops. Consciousness can be noted to exist everywhere, although some people say it doesn't. That personal consciousness exists everywhere. You can detect it. You can't detect the source, but you can detect what emanates from the consciousness. Then you can see the product of the consciousness. It's just a manifestation. It comes down to 3D, you know. This is where we are, 3D. And it just grabs a hold of this 3D and it manipulates it for itself. That's not love. That is not love. Selfless love. So selfless love sometimes looks contradictory to purely pious. If something's purely pious, everybody is just cheering it on. Oh, you're doing this for humanity. Oh, you're doing that for humanity. But the underlying fact is he's doing it for his own self-aggrandizement. Maybe you're not giving him money, but he's getting the product. And you're in the illusion. So, who's the biggest of all cheaters? And declares it boldly on a battlefield. Yeah, you're right, Krishna. Of the cheaters, I am the cheaters. Of the merchants, I am the best. Of the fighters, I am the best. Those who kill, I am the best killer. Everybody has to die. So if somebody wants to put a stamp on Krishna, He is the best of the cheaters. He put Las Vegas out of business. Oh, really quick about this. Trump. Oh, did I change the subject matter? Okay. Trump, 91 times he's declared bankruptcy. And they can't really catch him because they can't prove that it's illegal. How can a person declare bankruptcy? Bankruptcy says, I have no money. I can't pay you. So please help me out so that I don't get destroyed. This is a trick of our lost Yadavas. They've put this into action. The lost Yadavas. Descendants of Krishna. That went to the west instead of the east. Put it together. Okay, so now, I am the best of businessmen. Was Dwarka a spiritual place? I mean, it was where Krishna's family lived and everything. Was it a spiritual place? No. Vedic rules and regulations could not enter into that. And the culmination of that was when it was coming to an end. And all of a sudden, everybody was always getting drunk. There was prostitutes, and there was illicit sex, and there was this at the max. At the max. But what had happened here? Okay, I hope I can do this fast. There was a great pious king, Jarasandha, all the way at the end of the Gangas. And you got Dwarka all the way at the other side, in the Arabian Sea. So you got two businessmen, Jarasandha, and he was backed by two big people, Salva, and I can't remember the other person's name right now, Kalyavana, and Kalyavana, there we go. And what was Jarasandha doing? Jarasandha was taking taxes from world travel. And world travel means all the way in Africa on the north, on the west side, coming all the way through, and then in Indonesia, coming in and going into the silk. They call it the Silk Road. So it was like the best way to come. So here we go. Jarasandha is here collecting taxes and making money, and there's no need for fighting. He has an army, but the army is for protecting his trade route. And the trade route is there still. The Grand Trunk Road. Trunk Road. In other words, you put your trunk on top of the camel, you put your trunk into a bullock cart, you put your trunk on a boat. So he's in charge. And he's every day giving out to what they call the Brahmanas, the religious people. But now don't misuse the word religious could go into piety for profit, and it can also go into selfless love. So his is disconnected from selfless love. So he doesn't care if this Brahmana is, just a businessman. Doesn't care about that. He just cares about giving some donation and making more more profit in piety. That's all. So all of a sudden, Krishna comes up with an idea. Why don't I gather all the world fighters? And I gather all the fighters in India. And I make a war. I set up this war so that they all come and they kill each other. 630 million died in the war. But millions died even when Jarasandha just says, man, this guy is ruining the whole trade route. This guy's taking all the money. What does he do? He's got this island. Now the Indus Valley could have been used also, but the Indus Valley, what happened is the water level fell. And the Indus Valley was like a very organized place. So the Indus Valley, the water falls, so there's an island. The island was Dwarka. So now from the falling of the water, the level of the water falls, no more Indus Valley. They lost everything. Looks like Krishna is working too. So they build up this Dwarka, golden houses. Even there's a hall, you know, you would call it the, on Capitol Hill, you know, on Capitol Hill, the Capitol building. Okay, so there was this hall that they brought from above, and they placed it here on this earth. The hall, when there was only a few people in the meeting, it would become that size. And you could hear the people talking and everything. The temperature in the hall, because in that area, India, it gets hot or it gets cold. So the temperature inside was perfect. So it was a perfect hall, you know. No need for air conditioning, no need for a fan, no need for this, that, and the other. It's a perfect hall. So what happened when the destruction of Dwarka does come and the water comes up, because that's the natural thing. Water comes up again, it takes away Dwarka, and the hall was taken back up. So don't think the hall's there. It was taken back. So now, here we go. This businessman, he does an act. And he starts, I can make a war even with the most pious person in this world, because piety isn't godliness. I'm going to make a war that's going to gather all of these so-called pious people and all these so-called unpious people, and they're going to fight each other. Yeah. And I make the profit. Why? Because the person's changed their body, they can again begin again. Okay, so now, he doesn't lose anything, and we don't actually lose anything. It's just a more to bring everything back down to some normality. So here we go, changing subject matter. We go to Mr. Trump, 91 bankruptcies. What's going on here? He's a big businessman. No, he's not a big businessman, but he's a smart man. Yeah, his father's brother was MIT person, and his father was just as, smart as his brother. So he's high class. So let's take him. What we do is he's not acting with his money. This is the smart part. So somebody comes up, gives him some money, and says, go buy this in your name. Okay, no problem. So he buys it, puts it in his name, and then he destroys it. You're thinking that this is the stupidest way to do business. But that was the aim. So now he destroys it, and the Savior comes on stage in the drama and says, oh, let me save you, Trump. Let me save you. Oh yes, I'm going to lose everything. I says, okay, here's some money, but I'm taking over the property. So who gave him the money? The guy that's taking over the property. So what has happened to the property? It has lost value on the market, but they did it on purpose so that he could grab it. Now it's in his hand. And Trump's not waiting for the payment to always complete, because it doesn't matter to him if the payment is complete on the bankruptcy or not. Who cares about that? I got my money to go buy it. I got my money after I got out of the situation. I got my money on both sides, and the guy got the property at a low rate, and he ain't going to give it up. Like so many people are thinking, oh, Trump has so much property in New York. He even bought a railroad station. Of course, you know, he gained more than just piety. There was no place to set up the Rath Yatra in 1976 for International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So all of a sudden Trump offered his parking lot and everything to set everything up. Now that gave him some, not completely pure, but that was not pious activity. That was more of a selfless act. It wasn't necessary for him to do it. He did it. He didn't make any profit off of it or anything like that. He didn't even know what he's doing. So he's got some good profit from some selfless act. And he's probably done things like that other places. But the thing is, this is the trick. They've taken, the lost Yadavas, have taken over so much without people actually knowing what the heck's going on here. And the person that is paying low, and I do mean low, and you know what we're talking about is even on the other side, the businessman that is receiving, oh, you're giving your bankruptcy dues. You're giving your bankruptcy dues and payment on the Trump airport, on the Trump railroad station, on the Trump, all these Trump things. He's in the same business. So the money's coming in from one of the guys that are in the same business as the other guy. And they're keeping it going. Well, the in-between people are working harder than hell. They're undermining intellectually. Okay, so this is a heavy thing. So this is what Krishna did. These guys got the idea from him. And you're thinking, no, they didn't get the ideas from him. Of course they got the idea. They're family members. They're the lost Yadavas. This is their nature. They were called. I mean, like I got a whole bunch of backups of videos and everything to show the authentic way. Okay, so now, but this is authentic, boys. This is authentic. They're just copying. And they're feeling like they're doing it for themselves, but no, Krishna's playing the act again. Without having to appear and everything, he's playing the act. Let's gather all these pious and impious people and let's give them another chance by changing their body. This is coming too much. Too much to take care of, too much to change in a sophisticated, humanistic way. So just better put them fighting against each other, let them destroy each other, and then that's it. So that's the setup. That's the setup. Let him do what he wants to do. But it isn't hard to figure out that it's a setup. The courts have taken Trump to court, but the courts know what's going on. In New York City, the courts, the whole jury was set up with lost Yadavas. You could put the word Israelis. So the whole court knows what's going on. They're taking over. And the other workers are foolishly following them. So they make the drama of trying to stop his presidency and this, that, and the other. They're part of it. They know. I mean, if this foolish idiot can figure this out, why shouldn't they be able to figure it out? Oh, he's attacking the judicial part. Oh, he knows that his friends are in the judicial part. Oh, why shouldn't he attack? Why shouldn't he say whatever he wants to say? He's just doing the bidding. He's got his doggy rope around his neck, and he's doing the bidding of somebody else. He's not doing his own bidding. He's just making profit as the other guy's money comes through him, and the other guy's money goes out through him. And in the middle, he's taking his profit and living nicely, while the fools suffer. The beauty of the Battle of Kurukshetra is unimaginable. But there had to be a reason for all the real satanic, demonistic, asuric people to come with the pious, I'm not saying godly, with all the pious, the biggest pious people. So that's one religion and another religion, and we're fighting for religion. So Kurukshetra was a fight of religion. Religion in the way that I believe in Satan and demons. I may put the stamp, okay, Shivites. And then I believe in the demigods. Not God, but the demigods. And I have full power in the demigods. So it was like a religious fight on a materialistic plane. A religious fight on a materialistic plane. Not for selfless love. So, from the point of view of the people, it was unnecessary. It was a gruesome battle. The Kurukshetra made actually 5 lakes of blood. The description was even an elephant was floating in that blood, because they were hand to hand. They were men. They weren't like Mark. They weren't like Mark 10 airplanes coming in and destroying something. No, they were hand to hand battles, and also they had some really mantric weapons. Really heavy mantric, and they're not even able to produce the mantric weapons now. The mantric weapons then was fusion weapon and fission weapon. Yeah, fusion weapon and fission weapon produced by the person with powers, personal powers. So that shows a whole big war and everything, with atomic warheads and with fusion warheads, and didn't destroy the whole world. And now somebody's going to tell me that all their atomic weapons are going to destroy the whole world. Don't fall for it. They can't do it. They can put tension in the people, and then the people will back them up in their war business. Oh, there's a there's an atomic threat from this person, oh, we have to have defense. Of course, people will die. It can't kill off the whole world. I mean, Krishna, he can put it together. He can do it. He can manage something like that. But a stupid little atomic bomb, even a fusion bomb. They used fusion in the Twin Towers. I was amazed to understand that. And they used the false earthquake. So there's false earthquakes, and the guy who invented the machine by mistake, the military complex came and they took all his ideas on how to make false earthquakes. But false earthquakes have something that can't be hidden. A false earthquake has a pulse. And the pulse is coming from a transformer. And the pulses, you can see that it's not natural. It's not coming from nature. So all these people that are measuring these earthquakes, they can detect, because it's on their machine. There were 6 pulses of earthquake, and it was measured in Alaska when the Twin Towers were coming down in New York. So somebody puts this together and says, you know, the nature of the earthquake pulse was not the nature that you usually see in an earthquake, because it was fusion. Easy. It's so easy. You get a big transformer, you know, Edison, owners are the Lost Yadavas, and it's only across the Hudson, the Edison Electric Company. You get the Edison Electric Company to pump in a pulse, 6 pulses, and then those 6 pulses are transmitted into 2 big towers. One's positive, one's negative. So you get like a natural energy, you know, static electricity. You ever seen when you got 2 things and you put static electricity? I forget it. I think it's called the Wilson wheel, where they scrub together back, and then all of a sudden there's 2 little balls out here, and then from the 2 little balls comes electricity, natural electricity. So that's the energy that they needed. 210 story building, another 210 story building, well grounded. You know, you have to be well grounded, and one's positive, one's negative. Come on, it was put together like for a genius. A genius put that together, and it worked. Destroyed the whole thing. Fusion makes powder. You don't have to go into any examination. Everything became powder. Almost everything became powder. Some things didn't. But even automobiles that were near that were lifted up, and you could detect how something became powder. That's fusion. That's the result of fusion. It either disappears or it becomes powder. Anyways, whatever. Take it as it is. So, what is happening right now? I mean, there has to be a conclusion to this, and somebody has to be directing this from above. So you know, he hasn't left us. He's directing the whole thing. Put them all together, let them have a fight, destroy each other as much as they can, and then there'll be some peace around. And maybe I'll lose this video. But videos come and go. Don't think there's only videos now. This system of videos comes and goes. It has this up and down market. Thousands of years, but it has up and down market. Okay, so now, let me see if there's another point to bring up. Krishna, he picked some people. And he didn't just pick from this earth. He brought them from up above, because he needed special powers. So he brought his men from up above. those that were actually with selfless love for him, when it came for annihilating them, they just went back. And more than likely went back to the spiritual world. Those who were brought because of their material ingenious ways, they were killed here. But grab it. Chosen. I chose you. I brought you. I put you in a situation for a great battle that is like the most documented battle, and no, most documented battle. I mean, like Jyoti Shastra, right? It even tells the stars that were out. It tells everything. It's like so documented. You can't even give it to CNN and them destroy it. It's too documented. Everything is so documented. How the great waters were starting to rise, the Ganga water and the Yamuna water. Everything is documented. And what star was in the skies to make this happen. And the whole thing is documented. Even if you were smart and you would look at the documentation of what's happening right now, you'll go, ooh, this is practically the same of 7,000 years ago. 7,000 years ago. Situation is just about the same. So you could figure out what's going on. And one will be the climax of this. So even Krishna is like amazing. Even to the point of destroying his whole family members, the Yadavas. Remember, the Yadavas are on that island, whooping it up, you know? It's golden houses, air-conditioned houses, everything, you know, everything's just wonderful. He brings them all together. Boats? Are you kidding me? Not one mast boats, but 2 or 3 mast boats. They're there at the port. Everybody wants to enjoy themselves. So let's go to the island of Dwarka and bring our family up. And even when it was being told, you know, from the skies, hey, you guys, quit, you know, acting so bad. No, they didn't stop. They kept on drinking. They kept on having fun with the prostitutes. The descriptions of the prostitutes in parades is there, you know. But you need them, because these are fighters. These are people that want to go rape the world. They're fighters. But you got to get them away from the populace. So you put them on an island, let them whoop it up, and then when it's time, everything's back to normal, let's get rid of them. So what happens? Dwarka becomes flooded, it all falls down, everybody running off of it. Some can come to the east, to India, some went to the west, to Israel. Perfect. Perfect arrangement. Incredibly perfect arrangement. But he makes it so emotional. The whole drama is incredibly emotional thing. The emotions in that drama are so incredible. Gandharvi, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. There was a king. He was born blind. So he was one of the kings who had 100 sons. And their 100 sons wanted to fight the Yadavas. So that king, his wife, was from Afghanistan. She was a princess from Afghanistan. Very, very strong lady. Not little strong. Very, very strong lady. And here she comes into the picture, and she's married with a blind king. So she takes some cloth, covers her head, and from the time of marriage until the time of death, she didn't ever want to see anything because he couldn't see. You can imagine the power of her purity, maybe materialistic purity you could say, but the power of her purity was incredible. But it was a manipulation for a activity. So here all her 100 sons are killed, and she knows who's the culprit. The maximum culprit is Krishna, and she's related to him. So all of a sudden, when she sees Krishna, and she is crying about all her sons dying, I think Duryodhana was the last one to die, the head person, and she's there with her last son of 100. And of course she's weeping. And her hair, she has to take down her hair. She has always her hair tied up, but now, because of weeping and sorrow, all her hair is down. She's just destroyed. She has her last son in her hand. And all of a sudden, Krishna appears. And she says something, because she knows him. She says, you know what? You know that you could have done all this in a different way. You know. And you have the ability. All of this could have been done in a other way. But then Krishna would have to put his personal hands into it. So he didn't put his personal hands into this whole occasion. He just inclined one group against another group and let them destroy themselves. So she's telling the truth. You could have done this in a different way. Why have you done it like this? So Krishna's standing there, but he's smiling. Because he knows what she's going to do. And what would the mother of 100 children, what would she say? Of course, I curse you. But this is a lady of power. Power of piety. Power of surrender to her husband. This shows a power. She says, in 36 years, your whole dynasty will be destroyed. But then all of a sudden, you know, you got it. The emotion must have been incredible. Bodies lying everywhere. Blood everywhere. 5 lakes of blood. Elephants floating in the blood. The battle was only 18 days. 6,300. 6 million. No. 630 million, excuse me. Let me put the zeros in the right way. 630 million. I think in the Indian language it'd be 6 crore. I don't know why that number is picked out, but there's significance to it. That, what is it? 1369 of Tesla. Okay. And I would have to get some reference, but 36 years was a very well picked out time. So she's telling him, your whole dynasty is going to be destroyed. And he's standing there smiling because the words are being put into her mouth. Saraswati put the words of the Gayatri mantra into Brahma's mouth. So here Krishna, his energy is putting the words in the Gandhari. I hope I'm saying it right. So important. And she says, 36 years, your dynasty will be destroyed. And that's what happened. Dwarka went down, and goodbye. I just wanted to put that out really quick. But it gives you a certification. This is not being done by Trump. This is not being done for this reason or that reason. This is being done because there's a cleanup coming. And it has to come because it's gotten too out of hand. It's not out of hand. It's not out of hand of him, but it's out of our hand, and there's just too much going on. But maybe I shouldn't even have said that Trump is one of the major pawns, not a king or a queen or a bishop or a kshatriya on a horse. No, he's not. He's a pawn in the hands of others. And they're moving. They're making all the moves. But their moves are moves for their self-destruction. They're preparing their self-destruction. That's what they're doing. That's all their moves. Just going back to Gandhari. Gandhari. Oh man. Can't come, isn't coming into my mind. Sorry, Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was the blind king. At the end, those two burned themselves up. They, by meditation, by their strength, they burned themselves up. So they're not just common people. They were very strong people. When the drama became to an end, self-emulsification, they burned themselves up. Yeah. So let's see if I got it all down. Well, just an insight. I said, if I go take a shower, and if I go do all these things, but I'm telling you, you don't feel, brain's not working so good, it's not awake. But I said I better put this out quick. So even if one or two people hear about it, oh great, it's all right with me. It's supposed to be a really like hidden secret and everything. I mean, like right now everybody's, the biggest businessmen are saying Trump's destroying, but that's what he was put there for. He was put there to destroy. He has to destroy so that they can buy at a lower price and control. The price is too high up. Let's bring everything down. We grab it. We take the money out of their hand. We take the wealth of ours. We grab it. We put it under our control. It's a simple business act with a bunch of deaths of people in the middle and people in sorrow. So it all looks like, oh, he's helping, but in the end, he's not helping. He's helping his doggy holder. He's the pawn in the hands of a so-called king. And we are just pawns in that chess game. Okay. I could say, I mean, the high class businessmen are seeing it, and they're just like lamenting, you know. But they still haven't said he's not doing it on purpose. They are not saying this, that he's doing it on purpose. So if it's coming to my mind, I know it's coming to their mind, that this is being done purposely to bring it down. It's out of their hands, out of their control. Somebody's pointing them out. Hey, you know, the little guys, they're pointing them out. Hey, that guy's in control. Why don't you change? No, then they grab him, put him in jail, shut him up. Yeah, anyways, I'm here in India. I'm just laughing my head off. Okay, anyways, this gives you a good insight that someone else is in control. And he's doing this, he's allowing it to happen in a very scientific way. He's allowing it to happen by the arrangements of the planets, by the arrangements of the stars, by the arrangements of this. His nature is propping it up. It's not just a one-dimensional thing, you know. It's a multi-dimensional propping it up. Let's prop it up, and this is a cycle. When things are propped up, it's a universal cycle. It's a planetary cycle. It's a, you know, it's not some tiny little guy, politician on a tiny little place, United States or any place like that. No, it's not like that. This is being propped up. So, and the astrology can't help it. He can point it out to you, but what's the use of that? Somebody pointing something out and just telling you, hey, you can't do anything about it. This is what's going to happen to you. But there's always a negative the way to look at astrologies and the astrologers. They always put out a negative, but they don't always know that there's a balance. The negative, okay, it can be true and you can see it, but there's a positive too. And the positive could go to the demoniac, satanic person, or it could go to the pious person. And that's the positive. And the negative result could go either way also. It's picking it out. So it's no use knowing the planets and the stars, and it doesn't solve the problem because you don't know which side are they going to pick. Who's going to get the power? You don't know who's going to get the power. The ultimate thing is like, where's this power going? No, it's being given because of a cycle, the universal cycle. And the universal cycle is billions of years. So, billions of years? Yes. This cycle of humans coming and going has been going for billions of years. And the people that know this don't want anybody else to know it. They keep it hidden. Oh no, we were only 4,000 years ago when we became civilized. Oh, whew, what a bunch of bull. And it's only one time. Now, if eternity, it's just not logical. If you really believe in it, oh, I'm going to become the eternal person, I'm going to go back to God. Well, if you can go back, then you came from. I mean, like, that's the logic. If I can go back, then I came from. Because that is always existing, and I came from that always existing, and I came to a temporal show, a temporal drama, and I'm going to go back to that always existing. You go back. The temporary doesn't go there. It can go, the energy of the temporary can go there. in the form of consciousness, it's always there. But there's absolutely no logic. It's not to degrade, but there's no logic that, oh, after this life I'm gone. No. If you live in a consciousness of, oh, I understand that I can become eternal, well, that means you are eternal. Right now. You're just covered eternal in a certain way. You take the covering off and you're back to eternality. Well, everything's said like that. Let's see, put it back into perspective, what's going on. I should go take a shower. I should get ready, right? Yeah, 7:20. Yeah, 7:20. What is the day? The 3rd. Oh, the 3rd day is, oh, you can't even see. Let's see. You can't even see. Wait a second. Yeah. Yeah. Initiated disciple, Krishna Vilasini. Yeah. In 2015, we were not expelled. My visa was up, but there was a blacklist on both of us. So from 2015 on July 24 until 2016, we weren't able to come back to India. That was in December 2016, so that was about 16 or 17 different months that we weren't allowed. So when we did come back, and the pain was horrible to be out of the Dham. So when we did come back, the opposing party again approached us and said, we're kicking you out forever. So she took this as a statement that was real. I said, no, this doesn't happen. You can't go back on a blacklist, especially if it's taken out. You can't do it. You have to, and they couldn't give a reason. For me, it's all right. They could find a lot of reasoning to put me out, but they couldn't find a reason to put her out. So they said, wait a minute. Okay, he should be blacklisted. But why was she blacklisted? From my perspective, others may think, there was a big case against the society, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, because some foolish young boys took a girl that was underage to different temples. She was one of the aristocratic people in Los Angeles, living in the most aristocratic place. Called the Robin George case. So the family, of course, got mad when they find out that she was taken to 6 different temples of ISKCON. The foolishness of the young people. Oh, I'm going to save you. Well, they made a mess. And because they didn't properly follow the founder, Srila Prabhupada, he said, don't centralize. Centralization of the society is very dangerous. Don't centralize. So when the case came, it was against the whole society. And it was more than $32 million. And I'm talking $32 million back in the 1990s. I forget exactly what year it was resolved. 1991 1990, January 9th, the Supreme Court of the United States took the case in. 32 million. That's a really big chunk. So 6 temples were put into that as collateral. So 6 temples would be lost, and all that money would be lost. And they had other things in that case that they hooked onto it. So her father, Harold King, the biggest, and for him, for me to call him an atheist is a glorification. For him. You may say, oh, why are you calling him an atheist? But for him, he was the person that helped establish the San Diego Times. Him and a friend. The Romanian Jewish people, strictly against God. The people are like going saying, what? They're Jewish and they're strictly against God? Yes. Outright strictly against God. They even came to me a few times and told me that they were strictly against. So Harold King was like the hero of San Diego. San Diego is the Jewish vacation place. That's why it was set up. You got Los Angeles for all the business and everything, and then you go to San Diego, it's warmer down there, and there's always a cool breeze coming in, and you set up your house there for the weekends, and then you come back to Los Angeles for working. So he's down there in San Diego. Him and his friend got tired of the, newspaper business. So they went ahead and they started a television business. They opened up Channel 10. This person is not just a regular person. And of course, since he's setting it up, he took a 1 hour and a half time on Channel 10 to interview different people. Who did he interview? The big stars of Hollywood. He interviewed the presidents. He interviewed them, and he could ask the best questions for an hour and a half. This man was incredibly intelligent. He had this daughter. His daughter became a Hare Krishna. Excuse me, this is looked bad upon her by her father, but we look at it as very good. She knew how to write. In the courts, you have to write in the right way. If you don't write in the right way, even here in India, if you don't write in the right way, they won't accept what you're submitting. She knew this. She graduated from 900, her high school had 900 people in it. She was top, valedictorian. Her name is Victoria, but she was valedictorian. Yeah. So, here this young lady, she's getting thrown out of India for 16 months. Then all of a sudden, she comes back and somebody's accusing us again and going to throw us out. So April was the time that we had to go out and renew the visa and then come back in. So I wasn't even worried, but she was very worried. I think it was April 7th we were supposed to fly out. Well, put everything really fast. Okay, now you know the situation. You know her heart is in Vrindavan. Every time she couldn't come back, we'd fly back and forth, but she would just cry and cry, So then she, without me knowing it, for 3 days, she went and she took young girls, because she always liked to have the company of some young girls. They didn't have to be the Hare Krishna girls. They could be, and they go up to ISKCON and eat together and hear the kirtan and dance, and this, that, and the other. So they told me afterwards that she would sing, and she would sing, swing. Excuse me. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Okay, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Now this is the Chaitra season. This is a few days before Sri Ram's. And Kushmanda is on the 4th day. She leaves on the 4th day. And Kushmanda has a golden chariot. So she wakes up. Of course, she's sick. Nerves were very bad. Chronic fatigue syndrome for many years. But you can see, this is 2013. So she's not in a desperate situation. So in the morning, I give her tea. I give her like this, and I said, now I'm going to Damodar because I have something to do with Jayadev Goswami's samadhi. So I'll be back in a while. Then in Damodar, I hit myself and blood starts coming out. Because there's so many things that are protruding that you can hit yourself on. And I look, and I said, uh-oh, something's happened. And then I get a phone call. Shonaka, she's gone. I go out of there like a madman. That's about 10 o'clock in the morning. I lose it completely. She's lying there. But even persons that know her for years, that came to visit, said she didn't turn blue. She didn't lose her smile. Nothing. You know this is the power of Prabhupada. Then, even a more surprising thing happens. Satendriya, not even 45 minutes. Satendriya, a Brahmin, Satendriya Sharman, FRO, who knew all the falsity of what was done against us. He comes running. You know, people, I shouldn't even say it, but people in his position don't make phone calls, but he made a phone call one time personally to me, and he says, the lady is not the culprit. Don't say anything bad about that lady. And I said, what? But that's who's attacking me. He said, no, 2 sannyasis are backing her. And of course he just hung up, because that's totally illegal. But he knew what was going on. And at that point, I had already gotten too mad and made too many mistakes. Okay, so back to her. He comes. It didn't even take 5 minutes. He gave permission for the burning. Then, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, the hospice, the doctor comes. I don't even think an hour, I don't think even an hour passed. And he also gives an okay. You don't know, but it's very hard to burn a body here in India of a person that's not Indian citizen. Very difficult. The autopsies have to be done, everything. But like that, clockwork. And I can't even move. That's powerful lady. And even though everybody burns the bodies almost 2.5 kilometers away, and it's city regulations that you can't burn anyplace else. The owner of this house where we lived, where the ashram is, who's the owner who's in difficulty in the hospital also at this moment, he looks at me and he says, she's not being burnt over there. We will carry her right in front, where she always excuse me, where she always liked to see the Luna. We'll burn her there. And then other people came and said, Shonaka, the wind is blowing towards the city. You shouldn't do this. All this smoke will come into the city. This shouldn't be done. That's why they burn out there. And I go, well, he's in charge. I'm not in charge of this. Oh, I got to do this quick. Oh. So on the 4th day, Kushmanda Devi, the chariot came and took her away. And we burned the body. Of course, you know, there has to be in the ceremony, there has to be somebody. So Rohini's son, Kishore, he was my son for that day. That they appointed him, and he helped. I tell you, I was like a wet noodle. I could hardly do anything. And she was burnt there. The wind changed. The wind was no longer blowing towards the city. Okay, it's natural, this, that, and the other. Just too many things. Just too many things. The response of the people. The response of the people here in the city. Big businessmen. If they saw me, they saw my condition. Couldn't hide it. They would say, she's a very elegant girl. Very elegant. She was very elegant. They glorified. So after, the day after the burning and everything, there was one part of her sari that we could not, she had a special blue sari that she liked so much, but we wanted it all in the burning, but we couldn't find the choli. Excuse me, we couldn't find the choli. So then, the next day it was behind the door. So I said, oh, I'll take this to the Yamuna River. So I went from the house to the Yamuna River. It's not that far. A nice day. And I just ceremoniously put the choli in the liver. And as I was doing that, a dog that was always sitting in the front of the house, he had his two legs on top of his head, and he was howling as if crying. Of course, you gotta give him a little bit of philosophy and console him and tell him, hey, don't worry about it. But he just cried and cried. Because they can see. A dog has a sense. They can see the aura. And that aura was gone.